Hey, my name is Jared Moon, and I'm part of a group of underground athletes you've probably never even heard of before. We don't rely on fancy equipment for training, and most of us don't even have gym memberships. In fact, our motivation comes from within. You see, we have jobs, families, and responsibilities, but we still have big goals, and they aren't getting achieved at a global gym. For that reason, we have to do things differently. Our training has to be smarter. We don't have every piece of equipment known to man or a ton of time to train, and we don't need it, because we are achieving amazing things without it. So how do we do it? If you ask your average personal trainer or gym goer, they'd call us crazy. Yet we're seeing results better than most every single day. And it's happening by blending mental training with physical training and becoming an athlete. What we call, and welcome to, Garage Gym Athlete.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jared Moon here from Into 3 Fitness, and welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. With me is Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's up?
And Douglas Alexander. How's it going, Douglas?
Well, coaches, how are you guys?
I'm great. I think Joe's
Not
doing. No, he's great. He's no. So I don't want to steal any thunder here, man. I want to get right into it. So if you could give us a quick intro, who you are, what you do, and how you train would be great.
Sounds good. My name is Doug Alexander. I am now one of the Into 3 Fitness coaches, through Into 3 Fitness. Very proud about that. Who I am from my day job, I'm a supervisory attorney for the U.S. government, and my night job is I'm a fitness coach and an Into 3 coach now. Start off the normal weightlifting kind of thing, transition from there to martial arts, boxing, MMA. That's what I was doing before I found CrossFit, and then one of those, like a lot of those people kind of found CrossFit a little bit too random, was looking for something a little bit more structure to kind of get you through the plateaus and to get you there. And I was looking to build a bunch of stuff in my gym on the cheap. Yeah. And that big little intersection of stuff led me to Into 3 Fitness and you guys, and I've never left ever since I found you. So.
Yeah, man, you've been around Into 3 Fitness for a while. How long's it been?
Good Lord, I don't even know. Before we had Garage Gym Athlete, before Accelerate,
Yeah, it was like
back when it was a website with a bunch of DIY stuff and really, really hard workouts kind of posted randomly on the website. So
right. Perfect. Yeah, man, you've been around for a long time, so I'm super pumped to get you on. So you're actually in your garage right now. So what is your kind of garage gym setup? What do you have? Yeah, if I remember correctly, you have a pretty badass setup. But what all do we have here?
For a garage, I can give you a little quick tour if you want.
Yeah, just make sure call it out too for people who are doing audio only.
You see the giant whiteboards behind me here, right?
A necessity.
I call this my garage. This is my garage gym by Craigslist. Everything is basically from Craigslist or eBay, or I found it on sale somewhere. So I'm a living testament to the fact that you can do this on the cheap if you stay committed to finding what you need to do. So, but those are the giant whiteboards that used to be paneling for showers when you're doing DIY projects, right? Yeah. We got the two Concept 2 rowers here. We got the ski erg sitting right over here.
That's awesome.
That was
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was the most recent thing. Some guy used it like 5 times, and decided it wasn't for him. So he gave it to me. Basically, it's brand new. Still had the plastic on the computer. It was like $300 off. Plus, he gave me gas money to go up and pick it up. So
dude, you found a ski erg on Craigslist. That's amazing.
Yeah. So if you look over here, we got the 2 Airdynes, also off Craigslist, right?
Perfect. Yeah.
We got the Rogue sleds, homemade sandbags sitting in the corner over there. Your standard rack that you do for just about everything you do here, right? So the bumper plates. I got all kinds of bars again from Craigslist and Optimists who had to give up. These should look familiar. These are off the Into 3 Fitness do-it-yourself plyo box. One of my first projects off of the website.
Nice.
And then you got your standard rings, pull-up bar, big heavy kickback for the guys who want to get some aggression out.
Yeah.
Here. Oh, wait.
Slosh.
Slosh. Also, the 3 Fitness website, right?
Yeah.
That I'm jealous of.
And of course, the flooring is all the horse stall matting that you can get from the Tractor Supply company. It's like that 1 inch thick. It's just soft enough to make it a little bit easier to do body weight stuff, but firm enough to where you can still do the heavy lifting and feel like you're still pretty steady down there. And I've got the sets of kettlebells are kind of random. You fill them in as people put things on sale. And, I have athletes who train with me for a while, and they they realize that they're not using them at home, so they'll bring them in. They'll donate the kettlebells to me into the gym.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's taken probably a few years, like 3 or 4 years, to kind of build everything up, and you figure out what works and what doesn't work. You figure out what you really need. Some things sound really cool on paper, or when you read them on a website for a workout, and you get them in the gym, you're like, I never use it.
Yeah.
Like it's good for like one workout, and then you're like, yeah, there's better ways to get that, and you just never use it. So, but other stuff you use all the time. I mean, like seriously, one man, one kettlebell. The kettlebells. I've got a couple of guys who went off to college. I told them you can only afford and you only have room in your dorm for everything with it. So,
yeah, kettlebell is great and an incredibly versatile piece of equipment to have. I think that would be, if I could only have one piece of equipment, I might change my answer to kettlebell. Given how much you can do and how creative you can really get with it. So, you've how long have you been in your garage training?
Oh God. Well, there's a previous smaller iteration in another house of the garage gym. So I'll have to say maybe like 4 or 5 years. It's been a garage gym athlete.
Wow, that's awesome. So you're on Garage Gym 2.0.
2.0. Right?
2.0. All right. I think Joe's on 1.0 now, right, Joe?
I'm on like 0.5.
0.5, and I'm about to be on like 6.0, something like that.
Oh,
but hey, it travels. It doesn't travel well. I'm not gonna lie. Garage gyms do not travel well. They are a huge pain, but that is the only time that they are a downside. All right, man. So you've been doing it 4 or 5 years. Why did you decide to start working out in your garage?
The short story is my wife and I, we ended up moving out kind of farther away from the main part of the city. And there weren't a lot of gyms available. It was a long commute. We had kids to deal with. And if we wanted to get any kind of workout in at all, we had to do it in the garage. And down the longer story is that down the street, there was actually a woman who had a garage gym. She was a CrossFit level 1, she and her husband, and she was doing classes. And we started, but she was so expensive. We could only afford to go like once every 2 weeks, get our butt kicked by her. So we started kind of making our own on the cheap version of what she had, and you're correct. You do everything. You buy the cheap mats to start because it's all you can afford. And you buy just the basic kettlebells. You have one bar with some bumper plate, and but then you start building and you start upgrading and you realize that, hey, this is kind of cool because the kids are inside. We don't need a babysitter. The little one can kind of tumble around and they get interested in fitness and they can start copying what you do. So they get really active, which is really cool. And there's just so many benefits to it that we just kept investing money in it and building it up. And, when we moved, it just seemed natural to upgrade. So we upgraded the flooring. We, added some more stuff into the gym, made it really nice because, you want to spend time. It might as well be a pleasant environment, so you paint the walls and, add a little flash here and there. And then next thing you know, you got a 4-year-old who's doing handstands and, practicing burpees with you and wants to go running. Who's, doing a workout.
That's one of the best parts of the garage gym, in my opinion, is if you got kids, like, there's no better way to like influence their lives through just showing and doing, as opposed to telling.
And then, other people see what you do and they see your fitness and your work and they see it's comfortable and they want to come do it with you. So next thing you know, you have a tribe of people who are showing up asking to work out with you. And so you're programming workouts for them and their kids start to see what's going on. And, next thing you know, it's like, it's a movement. And I think that's one of the things I like best about it is it really kind of boils it back down to, I think, what CrossFit and a lot of other functional fitness places were supposed to be, which was that kind of that grassroots. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be chrome plated. You don't need to have TVs and, air conditioning and juice bars. You just need to have some basic space and the will to do it. And, then you just start tapping into people who've done it before, who've done the work and the research, how to most effectively do it. And then you find what works for you. I tell my athletes, there are so many paths to the same goal. If your goal is fitness, there's 1,000 ways to get there. Pick what works for you and what you like. And that might change over the years. You may start off with heavy barbell work and then realize that, my joints aren't feeling it. I want to go run for a while. Or I want to go ruck. That's cool. You're still going to be fit. Just do it smart. And don't be afraid of asking questions when you don't know. There's a lot of experts out there. And I think that's what you really need to tap into is the fact that there are people who've done it before. They know what works. And you just got to appreciate that and take advantage of that.
So you train people out of your garage gym, correct?
I do.
So have you found that it's been better word of mouth, like people that want to come and train there, or has it been like your garage has been open?
Well, I'll tell you that I think my neighbors think we're crazy because, when they're
Always.
driving home from work and there's someone, pushing a dog sled or flipping a tire down the street, and then my front yard, there's some guys doing, ground to overhead with a barbell and slamming it down onto the gravel. They think we're nuts. But the best advertising, honestly, is word of mouth. And that's the best advertising from that is just people asking you, like, hey, what do you do to stay fit? When you're wearing your T-shirt, you're walking around, your arms are showing, you just feel like you have a lot of energy. It's not like you're talking about it. You're not bragging about it. I don't advertise. It's just that people ask, hey, what do you do? And we're like, well, we work out in my garage. And, if you want to stop by sometime, come on by and check us out. And some people like it and they'll stay. And other people, it's not for them. It's too sweaty, it's too dirty, it's too whatever.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You mean you don't give your people towels?
Where's the
No, I
sauna?
Yeah.
But we do put boiled water in the fridge over there, and I tell them just help themselves. And if they had to throw up, please do it out in the gravel. So,
All right. So what were you doing before you were a garage gym athlete?
long story, but I was actually a garage gym athlete, but in a different way. One of my boxing instructors is a professional MMA fighter.
Okay.
And he was in the same kind of general neighborhood, and he'd advertised on Craigslist that was doing MMA boxing instruction out of his garage gym. And so I recognized him. We reconnected. I was working with him, and he was kicking my butt over in his gym for a while. But like I said, things change, and timing changes and priorities change, and I started going towards more of that functional fitness model, and that led to the garage gym. But for probably 4 or 5 years, it was all boxing MMA before that.
And kind of walk me along the journey as far as results you've seen. Because training in your garage by yourself, I think that it takes a certain level of education. And I know that you've done that, constantly going out there and learning more things and being able to program for yourself to some degree, or at least understand what's happening. But what has your progression be as far as seeing results? Because I know some people out there thinking maybe I won't know what to do really, or maybe I won't stay motivated. What have you done over the last 4 to 5 years?
So first of all, you're right. I mean, I think one of the keys is education. You have to know, you have to learn, you have to be willing to read, you have to, try to sort out what works, what doesn't work, the BS versus the hype versus the real solid stuff. I'm a big fan of explaining the why, probably to the point where I bore the heck out of my athletes for the first 5 or 10 minutes of a workout, when we're doing the warm up and I'm talking about why we're doing it this way, why this time, why these, movements. But I think it's important for the buy-in, right? I substitute teach some, and I teach a few classes at a local CrossFit boxes, straight CrossFit kind of stuff. And I was explaining the why to the athletes, and the owner of the gym said, "You're going to make everyone a trainer." I'm like, "Well, yeah, isn't that the point?"
Yeah.
We should make everyone at least have that level of knowledge to where they feel like they could be a trainer because they understand the why. Because I think that's the difference between getting results and not getting results. If you're just blindly following whatever programming you get in your email or the popular websites do or the magazines do, you're never going to get anywhere, right? And the other thing is, like you said, it's hard to train by yourself. I joke that I'm the last person to get a workout in any day because I've got other athletes I'm training, I'm taking care of other business, I'm doing my regular job, got to take care of the kids. And it's hard, when you're tired and you just want to go to sleep, to get yourself out in your cold and or hot garage gym by yourself, no encouragement, no people cheering you on, no coach yelling at you to get that last rep in or get, to watch your form, and to have the discipline to do it. But the results speak for themselves if you stick with it. This is something that you said a long time ago, Jared, in one of your podcasts, was that idea that you have to stick with it. You can't program hop, right? But if you're willing to stick with it, you're going to see the results. And for me, the results were I got stronger. And I kept getting stronger consistently. Every time I did another program with Garage Gym Athlete or through End of 3 Fitness, I kept PRing. Even when I started to plateau, I'd PR by another 5 or 10 pounds, I set my personal goal to do a 400-pound deadlift and a 400-pound back squat. You know that. You saw me tracking that. I said that a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I finally got him.
Oh, congratulations, dude.
And that was through you guys. You guys kind of encouraging me and altering my programming, giving me tips on what to do, and I was able to do them. And then one of the best things in the world was videotaping those results and sending them in and getting my PR shirt.
Yeah.
Having that community of other people like, good job, getting faster, and the other thing is too, I'm 49 years old. And I guess for the one thing is I love the fact that I'm 49 years old, but I can outperform guys half my age. So that's pretty cool. One, just as an ego boost, for guys who are getting older.
That's awesome.
But two, yeah, but two, also having the knowledge to realize, okay, as I'm getting older, I know my body's going to start to change, right? My joints are just going to have a little more wear and tear on them. I'm going to start to slow down. I won't recover as fast as I used to recover between workouts. So then, being someplace like through, Endo 3 Fitness and doing the Garage Gym Athlete and becoming a coach, and the knowledge that you pass on through you guys' research, says, okay, so what does that mean for my programming? Right. And I have the knowledge now. It's like, okay, I know I got to work on the recovery. It's going to be more important. I know that I have to watch what kind of exercises I do. Maybe I need to sub some in to get the same results. But thanks to you guys, I have this library of other exercises I can do if I need to, just having to get the same results. But the fundamental philosophy of programming is still the same, right? What you're teaching about the pathways for how we want to train and why we train certain time domains and how we alter them, how we cycle them. The mesocycles, the microcycles, that's all still going to be the same. And I think that's one of the most important things, that you don't just blindly follow some programming with no idea the why. And next thing you know, you're hurting yourself, or you're not PRing, you're actually losing weight, you're losing strength. You don't understand why that's happening. And it's just frustrating, and then you quit.
Right.
Where does it go? So. And
I think that you bring up a really good point, is that, and I like to talk about this pretty often too, is that if someone's starting out in a new skill or just a new program, yeah, they're going to see a lot of results at first, with just, it's rapid adaptation. It happens in fitness. But you're someone who's, like I said, you've learned the why behind a lot. So you've continued to see results for almost half a decade, and most people can't say that, because most people get into, I don't know, let's say CrossFit or strength training or something, and they're just like, yeah, I'm just going to follow this program over and over again. It's like, well, that's going to stall you out really, really fast. You will see results at the beginning. I will not argue with anyone on that. Most programs work, especially if they're only shorter duration, but it's trying to stack those things on top of each other for a year or 2 years. That when it gets, I'd say, not necessarily more complicated, but a lot more thought has to go into it. And you were willing to put in the work to do that. All right, man. So I'm going to ask you, what's the hardest workout you've ever done?
Joe and I were just talking about that. There's two answers to that question. The kind of flippant but very true answer is whatever workout I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Is the hardest workout I'm doing, because
I like that mentality.
If you commit to it with the right intensity, I'm just going to kill this workout the way it's programmed, it's going to be the hardest. Like, I had to switch up my workouts today for my Garage Gym Athlete programming on Airstrike. It was supposed to be the 3 10-minute runs with the 5 minutes in between, right?
Yeah.
For the 30 minutes total. And interesting side note on that, I was trying to explain to people the why on that, right? Because I said, hey, my coach usually programs on Fridays 30-minute long runs, max distance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this Friday, he broke it up to 3 10 minutes. I'm like, and I know why. The why is because if it's only a 10-minute time domain, I need to be able to hit it to a different gear.
Right.
So I need to know that I can go faster because I only have 10 minutes, not 30 to parcel out for my energy, right? And so in theory, I should be able to run longer distance, cumulative, for those 3 10-minute, that total 30 minutes than I would if I was just running 30 minutes total. And knowing the why sits there, says, okay, that means my mentality has changed. So that 10 minutes, I know I have to kick it up a gear, right? I mean, so you have to, if you understand the why behind the programming, that influences the intensity that you're going to commit to that programming. So that's another reason, knowing seeing behind the curtain and understanding the programming helps you to become a better athlete, because then it'll change how you attack that workout, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Hang on. I've got my
My
4-year-old joining me here.
Hey, we're all Garage Gym Athletes. I know my kids are in my garage all the time, so I love it.
This is Harper.
Hey, Harper.
She does great burpees for the record, so and ring us up. So
that's awesome. All right, so if it's not the current workout that you're doing, what's the hardest workout that you've?
So the real hardest workout though is condition me to the grave.
Okay, yeah.
Flat out, because I have never finished it under the time cap.
Yeah.
Ever.
Condition me to the grave is brutal.
It's brutal, Jared. It's brutal, Coach.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not wearing it currently, but the Whoop strap. I like to track a lot of data on the Whoop, and so that workout at the time cap is 60 minutes, and Whoop tells you how hard you pushed yourself. Like it gives you a strain score, and this isn't like I'm not trying to plug Whoop or anything, but the max you can get is 21.0. That's like you push yourself to the max potential that they can have recorded for your body. And so I did a 100-mile bike race, right, not that long ago. And the 100-mile bike race, 7-8 hours, whatever. I'm not an endurance athlete, and I'm, constantly pushing myself there. It was really awful, super hot. Joe was there. My score at the end from the whoop was 20.6, so almost 21, as high as you can go. Condition me to the grave, same exact score, 20.6 for a 60-minute workout. It is the hardest workout. And if anyone wants to check that out, you can Google Condition Me to the Grave or check out the YouTube channel that we have, and you'll see kind of the explanation there. But that workout is absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah. Like I said, I've never even come close to finishing it under the time cap. I've got the Aerodyne, I've got the rower, I've got marked out distances. I had the will, I ate, I carb loaded, I did everything I possibly could, and utter failure.
Yeah, that one.
The thing about it, the funny thing is, though, even failing the workout, you still feel like you did a lot of work.
Oh yeah, and you do.
You do.
Yeah.
But it's cool because I've done it, I think, 2 or 3 times now in the course of my programming. It doesn't come up all that often, and each time I get a little better. It's a little bit faster, a little bit farther into the workout, or the movements are a little bit crisper. It's something happens that's good. So even on that horrible workout, it's still progress.
Yeah, dude. I think as long as you're making some progress in it, that's all that really matters. All right, so I'm gonna go to kind of the quick fire questions here at the end. In your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
Wow. Honestly, for me, committing to a program. I know there's a lot of other things we talk about. The ice baths. We talk about the aspect of committing to a workout. I think just committing to a program, and it's not going to be a sexy program. No one's watching you except for yourself, and sitting it through to the end is probably one of the toughest things I've ever done. Only because it's so easy to want to quit.
Yeah.
Especially midway through, you're tired. It's just a grind. You think, I'm not like, it's not like I'm in a 3-month program. I'm going to be doing this for a year, 2 years, 5 years. I can skip a few workouts. And the next thing you know is you've skipped a week's worth of workouts or 2 weeks worth of workouts, and you're completely derailed. And life happens to us, and it's understandable. No one's going to criticize you for it, but at the same time, it's really tough to make yourself, when you're exhausted and stressed out and busy, to get in there and do something for yourself in the gym. And then not only just to do it, not just to go through the motions, but to do it hard, right, with the right level of intensity. So for me, that's been the most challenging thing from a mental toughness standpoint, is just committing to finishing. Do it and do it right. And sometimes I succeed and sometimes I fail, and I had to give myself permission to fail once in a while. But that's kind of the demon that I struggle with, and I think that overcoming that is a really hard thing for a lot of people to do, but you can do it. That's the other thing.
Yeah, I think that's my real view of mental toughness these days. Is it's going to be that day in and day out grind over years, and whatever it is that you're doing, whatever takes your daily deliberate practice. But that, for sure, I 100% agree with that, man. All right, if you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I liked Bobby Maximus' answer to that in your podcast when he said the floor.
Yeah.
And I actually quoted people on that because he's right. There's no excuses. If you have some bare floor, you can do whatever workout you want to do, and you're going to get some results. But not copying from him, we talked about this a little earlier. I think a good heavy kettlebell. Yeah. From a practical standpoint, and especially after the one kettlebell training that you guys have put out. It shows that you can, with a good heavy kettlebell, just one, and it's space efficient, it's cost efficient. You can do strength programming, you can do endurance work, you can do, the short-term power, Metcon type of thing. It's just so versatile that if I'm not just being cheeky, with the floor answer, I think that's probably your best investment, dollar for dollar, is that, and then purchasing a good program that's going to get you there with someone who knows what they're talking about with the kettlebells.
Awesome. Dude. All right, last question. What is the best advice you have for garage gym athletes?
Wow. I think the best advice really is start small and be smart about how you grow it. I know some people who came into money and they decided they were doing a garage gym, and they bought all kinds of equipment that I don't even have. And they were showing it off to me. I'm like, that's great. It's brand name. It's brand new. It's awesome stuff. Personally, I don't need a landmine. I can shove at the end of a barbell against a couple, bumper plates and do just fine. I can use that money for something else, But my Aerodynes are like gold.
Right.
You know, they were hundreds some odd dollars cheap on Craigslist. No one ever uses them. They're in mint condition, but they're so versatile for conditioning, and you don't have to go out and run. You know, so just be smart about where you put your dollars, because they're going to be with you for a long time, and you want to actually be able to use them. And that's the difference between actually using your garage gym or just having a bunch of coat hangers.
Yeah, right.
You know,
So, somewhere to hang all your clothes to dry.
Yeah, it's got to be something you're actually going to use, you know, and see results with. And I think you guys proved that with one man, one barbell. You know, it's like you have a barbell and a few bumper plates and a rack, you can get incredibly fit. You know, you don't need a lot of stuff in your garage gym. You just have to have the right stuff in your garage gym, and then just build from there.
Well, man, I think. Oh, go ahead,
one
Joe.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we know your garage gym is very impressive. You have a lot of things. I mean, the ski erg is pretty rare to have, but Santa's coming, and he wants to know what is at the top of your wish list for what you want to have in your garage gym. What is the one piece of equipment that you're like, I wish it falls on Craigslist?
Wow. It's not sexy to say this. I'm going to be flat out and tell you, you know, I'd have two answers. One would be I could really use some more wall balls at Santa. We're going to, throw them my way. Those are the one things that you can almost never find, and they're so expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how expensive wall balls are, and the homemade ones just.
They have a shelf life. They don't last forever. The homemade ones. Yeah.
But the store-bought ones, I've already started to see. You know, I've duct taped a few of them apart, together just to try to preserve them.
Yeah.
You know, but otherwise, on my wish list, I think some really good high-quality racks would be the other thing you can really use. That'd be my big wish list, because finding a really good rack is hard. All of them have those, like the pulleys they're like weightlifting, racks. They've got the pulleys on them, so they have something sticking out. Or they've got, tricep extension connections, stuff like that. So just a good basic power rack, it seems like it's really kind of hard to find, because they got a lot of unnecessary junk on them.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be the one thing if for me personally in this gym, if I could throw a couple more racks on, because that's the limiting factor. When I'm training athletes, I only have one rack, and trying to get multiple athletes, I've had as many as 12 athletes in the gym training. Trying to get them to cycle through barbell movements and go heavy is hard, because they can't clean and press into a back squat with really heavy weight. And I only have the one rack, so it's kind of hard to cycle them through, a good weight workout. I've actually had to break up my weightlifting clients from my general fitness people just for that reason. So, because I have limited space and availability for the barbell stuff. Whereas, for the general fitness people, I can throw them on the street and they can, I can run 20 of them.
Scare the neighbors.
Muscle contractions and aerobic endurance, and you're good to go.
Exactly.
All right, dude. It's been a blast having you on. I know I've learned a lot. Every time I talk to you, it's a blast. I really appreciate your time today. Joe, you have anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, cool, man. Douglas, thank you so much. Perfect, man. See you later.
Take care, guys.